Welcome to our deep dive into the world of emotional manipulation, specifically focusing on how women emotionally manipulate men. Today, we're going to begin by peeling back the layers of this complex topic, setting the stage for a comprehensive exploration and understanding. Emotional manipulation, a term that might sound obscure to some, is a common psychological phenomenon that happens more often than we might think. It's a subtle art, a dance of the mind, that can be as benign as a child's plea for an extra scoop of ice cream, or as malicious as a calculated ploy to gain control and dominance in a relationship. In the context of romantic relationships, emotional manipulation can take on many shapes and forms. It's a broad spectrum that involves a range of behaviors from subtle nudges to overt coercion, all aimed at influencing another person's feelings or actions, often to the manipulator's advantage. When we talk about women emotionally manipulating men, we're not implying that all women, or indeed all men, are prone to this behavior. We're merely exploring a facet of human interaction that exists, and can be harmful if not understood and addressed. Remember, manipulation is not gender-specific. It's an unfortunate part of human dynamics that can exist in any relationship, regardless of the genders involved. It's also important to note that emotional manipulation is not always intentional. Sometimes people resort to manipulative behaviors without fully realizing what they're doing. They might have learned these patterns from their own experiences, or they might be acting out of fear, insecurity, or a need for control. Understanding emotional manipulation is the first step to navigating and mitigating its effects. It's about recognizing the signs, understanding the dynamics at play, and equipping ourselves with the knowledge and tools to respond effectively. Now that we have set the stage, let's delve into the specifics of how women can emotionally manipulate men. In our upcoming scenes, we'll look at the tactics of emotional manipulation, how to recognize it, and most importantly, how to address it. So stay tuned as we journey deeper into this complex yet fascinating world. To fully grasp how women can emotionally manipulate men, it's important to first understand what emotional manipulation is. Emotional manipulation is a form of psychological control. It's a covert, underhanded tactic that individuals use to influence or control the emotions and behaviors of others. It's a subtle art, often disguised as concern, love, or worry, and it can be as damaging as physical abuse. Emotional manipulation can occur in all types of relationships, from romantic partnerships to family dynamics, friendships, and even professional settings. The manipulator in this case uses emotions as a tool to gain power and control over their target. This could mean exploiting the target's vulnerabilities, spinning truth to their advantage, or using guilt and fear to influence decisions and actions. Emotional manipulators are often experts at playing the victim, making their targets feel guilty for things they have no control over. They may also use gaslighting, a psychological tactic where they make the other person question their reality or sanity. The effects of emotional manipulation can be devastating, leading to a lowered self-esteem, feelings of guilt, shame, and doubt, and in more severe cases, anxiety and depression. It's a form of emotional abuse that can leave deep psychological scars, often unnoticed or misunderstood. However, it's crucial to remember that emotional manipulation is not gender-specific. While our focus today is on how women can emotionally manipulate men, it's important to note that manipulation is a human issue, not a gendered one. Men and women alike can be the manipulator or the manipulated. The dynamics of manipulation can be complex, and often the manipulator may not even realize they're engaging in manipulative behaviors. Understanding emotional manipulation is the first step towards recognizing it and addressing it effectively. It's about gaining the knowledge to differentiate between genuine emotions and manipulative tactics, and empowering ourselves to navigate these tricky emotional landscapes. With this understanding of emotional manipulation, we can now explore how it manifests in the context of women manipulating men. Emotional manipulation can take many forms. Let's explore some common tactics that women might use to emotionally manipulate men. One of the most common tactics is guilt tripping. This is when someone makes you feel guilty for not doing what they want. They might say something like, "After all I've done for you, you can't do this one thing for me?" This tactic preys on your sense of obligation and fairness, making you feel like you owe them something. Next, we have gaslighting, a particularly insidious form of manipulation. Imagine if someone constantly questioned your memory or perception until you began to doubt your own sanity. They might say you're remembering it wrong, or that never happened. The aim is to make you question your own reality, leaving you vulnerable and dependent on them for the truth. Then there's playing the victim. This is when someone portrays themselves as the innocent party in every situation, shifting blame to others to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. They might say, "I can't believe you would accuse me of that," or "You're always trying to make me look bad." This tactic aims to make you feel like the bad guy, forcing you to back down and apologize, even when you've done nothing wrong. Another method is the silent treatment, where someone gives you the cold shoulder, refusing to communicate until you give in to their demands. This tactic is designed to make you feel anxious and unsettled, pushing you to seek their approval at any cost. Lastly, we have emotional blackmail. This is when someone threatens to harm themselves or others if you don't do what they want. They might say, "If you leave me, I don't know what I'll do." This tactic exploits your concern for their well-being, coercing you into compliance out of fear for what might happen otherwise. These tactics, while not exhaustive, provide a glimpse into the multitude of ways emotional manipulation can occur. Recognizing when emotional manipulation is happening is a crucial step in addressing it. Let's delve into the signs that you might be a victim of emotional manipulation, especially if you're a man. You see, emotional manipulation isn't always obvious. It can be subtle, creeping into your life without you even realizing it. But once you know what to look out for, it becomes easier to identify. One of the first signs could be a significant change in your behavior. You might find yourself doing things you wouldn't normally do, or you may be acting out of character. This could range from making decisions that you're uncomfortable with, to distancing yourself from your friends and family. And it's all because you're trying to keep the peace, or please the person who's manipulating you. Another sign is an overwhelming feeling of guilt or responsibility. If you constantly feel like you're at fault, even when you know deep down that you're not, then that's a red flag. Emotional manipulators have a knack for making you feel like everything is your fault, and this can lead to you shouldering blame and responsibility that isn't yours to bear. Yet another sign is a sense of uneasiness or confusion. If you're often left feeling confused or anxious after interactions with a certain person, it's possible that you're being manipulated. Emotional manipulators are experts at playing mind games, causing you to question your own judgment and reality. One last sign we'll discuss is a feeling of being isolated or trapped. Emotional manipulators are good at making you feel like you're alone, like there's no one else who will understand or support you. This isolation can make you feel dependent on them, further deepening their control over you. It's important to remember that these signs are not definitive proof of emotional manipulation, but they can serve as indicators. If you're experiencing several of these signs, it might be time to take a closer look at your relationships. Being able to recognize these signs can help one take the necessary steps to address and counteract emotional manipulation. Addressing emotional manipulation is not easy, but it's necessary for healthy relationships. Emotional manipulation can be a difficult beast to tame, but with the right tools, you can navigate this tricky terrain. Firstly, it's vital to recognize that emotional manipulation is not your fault. It's a behavior that the manipulator chooses, and it's their responsibility to change. You are not to blame for their actions, and you should never feel guilty for standing up for yourself. Next, consider seeking professional help. Therapists and counselors are trained to deal with situations like these. They can provide you with strategies to cope and help you gain the strength to address the issue. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. Rather, it's a sign of strength, a testament to your determination to improve your situation. Setting boundaries is another crucial step. You have the right to decide what behavior you will and will not accept. If someone crosses those boundaries, you have the right to walk away. It's not a matter of being rude or unfriendly, it's about respecting your own worth and dignity. Another important aspect is practicing self-care. This doesn't just mean bubble baths and spa days, although those can be part of it. It's about taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health. This could be as simple as ensuring you're getting enough sleep, eating well, and making time for activities that you enjoy and that make you feel good. Lastly, remember that you're not alone. There are support groups and online communities full of people who've been through the same thing. They can offer advice, share their experiences, and provide comfort and understanding. Addressing emotional manipulation can be a long and challenging journey, but it's one worth embarking on. You deserve to be treated with respect and kindness and to live a life free from manipulation. Remember, it's crucial to address emotional manipulation head-on for the sake of your emotional health and the health of your relationships. In conclusion, emotional manipulation is a complex and pervasive issue. We've delved into its nature, how it's potentially employed by women, recognizing the signs, and addressing it effectively. Remember, understanding and addressing emotional manipulation is key to building healthier relationships. Thank you for joining us on this journey of understanding.